All right. Hello, everyone. It is Monday, the 14th of December. This is the beginning of the third week of Advent. Look where I am. I'm actually out behind the church, back by the chapel area, the campfire area back here, and I'm actually sitting right in front of the woodshed because I do want to talk about that a little bit today. But look at this. Here we are in the middle of December, just 10 days before Christmas, and there's not a flake of snow on the ground, and I don't even have a jacket on today. Wow. I think we probably should ultimately feel lucky about that this year, although I'm ready for a little snow too. Okay, so Advent has always been about preparation. It's about preparing our hearts, our lives, our homes, our thoughts, everything, so that when Christ comes in the flesh as a baby, we can start to make sense of that. And we can make sense of it in terms of how that affects our lives and how Christ as a person comes into our life. Even though Christ is this mystery, Jesus is this mystery, but we confess he's fully human and fully divine. And God comes to us this way and tells us to understand his promise of being with us as a real person would be with us. So this is about preparation today. So I want to tell you one little story. I'm reading a book right now about Advent that focuses on the creation and animals especially. So get this. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but a chickadee. You feed birds in your backyard. We have a whole bunch. We have chickadees galore because we have a few different bird feeders. And one of the things that we see them do is just flit back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all the time. It never ends. And they're so beautiful. Chickadee, dee, 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 dee. You know, you can hear that. But you know what's going on? Ever since July, during about the month of July every year, their brain is really small because they really don't have to think much. There's food everywhere, and all they have to do is fly around and find it. It's all over the place. But beginning in about the middle of July, their brain starts growing. God has prepared the chickadee this way. Their brain grows until right about now when it gets to be almost the biggest that it is going to be. Do you know why? Because since July, those chickadees, which have been flitting back and forth from bird feeder to the woods, to the trees, to the wherever, have been taking the seeds that they have been finding and only eating part of them, half of them. And they've been taking the other half of the seeds and other things that they've been finding, and that they've been putting them in places where they're hidden so that no other bird or animal can get them. And every chickadee's been doing this. And other animals too, I suppose, for that matter. But they've been hiding those things, and their brain has been growing because little by little, one seed at a time, they're storing that information. They're memorizing where they put those seeds so that when December or January or February or March comes and their stores of strength are getting lower and lower and lower, they are tapping into the memory bank in their brain to remember where they hid the seeds so that they would have something to eat. They actually slow their body down, their heartbeat down, and they just kind of exist at the basic level, just enough to get seeds and food to eat. Now, isn't that amazing? And they get themselves through the winter so that when spring comes, they can just relax and their brain can shrink down a little bit more because there's food everywhere, and they can go through the whole cycle again. So God has created chickadees and other animals to do things like that. God has helped them find ways to prepare for things. God has helped us to find ways to prepare for him. So here's what I'm wondering, and I think this is really hopeful for me. If God has that kind of an intricate plan built into the creation, then that is built into us as well. And I have all the hope in the world that God is moving in us and helping us do what God wants us to do as human beings in order to prepare for him to come into our lives so that it can affect the whole world. So the joy in all of this is, I hope that in your homes, you are really taking intentional time to think about this and to prepare for Christmas, not in a busy way or a stressed out way or an anxious way at all, but to take some time to see where your preparations for Christmas are also meaningful to you in the way they help you think about this loving, gracious, saving Christ child who encounters you and who lets you encounter him. And at Christmas time, the fullness of that picture and encounter comes to us because God says, I want you to see my son, me, God in the flesh, first as a baby, and start to imagine loving that baby who loves you back. All right, everybody, it's Monday today. I will see you tomorrow on an Advent Tuesday as well. God's blessings to you.